Hello everyone! How are all my friends doing this evening? Welcome to Epic Meals with Jess. And if you're thinking, hey, your background looks a little different than it normally does, it is, and you're right. Welcome to our new test kitchen for the next few months. You may or may not be able to see out of our window, but that behind me we are building our home. So I really appreciate you joining me today, and I thought I would make up one of our new products, our quick biscuits. So like everything else from Epicure, it is gluten-free. So I am super duper excited for a gluten-free quick biscuit. That is awesome. And I'm going to give it a try. Now, though our setup here is far from perfect, so this will be my very first demo here from our new setup here. We are getting there. It is not perfect, that's for sure. So let me know when you're watching if you can hear me well, or if you can't, or if there's something you need you feel would be better situated. This is what I could come up with in the short term. Now this bowl could be a little small for this. We will see. I think if this one's any bigger. We're still, a lot of our stuff is kind of MIA. As you know, we put everything in our pods. So, yes. Alright, so the very first thing to make these quick biscuits, you're going to take a half a cup of cold butter. So, yes, you don't need to refrigerate, or you don't need to melt it. You don't need to let it sit at room temperature. It's right from the fridge, and the reason for that is you want to get a crumbly mixture for the biscuits. You could also call them scones, I suppose. I may try to do a like a sweet version of this, because I'm not sure that there's really anything in it in terms of like a flavor. So stay tuned for that. I may try to make scones out of that. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually spice it with our herb and garlic seasoning, or dip mix. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that, which is probably the rest of my jar here, to the just the dry mix. And I will take my mini whisk just to mix that in. Today we're having dinner with our neighbors. I don't know if you might be able to see right over there. I'm making the hearty beef stew, and I'm making it in the slow cooker. It was unbelievably easy just to toss all the ingredients in, set it, forget it. There is also a recipe on the back of the package for an Instapot for those of you who own one. I do. Again, mine's just MIA right now, but though we'll find it in the coming weeks as we continue to get a little more organized. All right, so we've got our dry mix here, herb and garlic. We've got our cold butter, and with that cold butter, of course, I'm going to read the instructions because I've only made it one other time. We're going to put that into the mix, and then I'm going to mix 1 egg and 2/3 a cup of milk. So let's pop our cold butter in there. We're going to take our 2/3 cup of milk, and I've already put that aside with our prep pro bowl, and 1 egg. Oh my gosh, guys, I have to show you something really funny. So we got more chickens, as you might have seen this week. They are ready to lay pullets, so that means they're either just starting to lay or just starting to come into lay, which means that they're very young. And we got our first couple of eggs today. So this is one of our regular hen eggs, and out came this egg. Look at the size difference. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So as the hens get older, or the pullets get older, and they become full-fledged hens, they'll get bigger. But I thought that was kind of funny when I pulled that out. But so I'm not really sure. I'll keep those for eating perhaps, and not use them for baking, because I need to know the size of the eggs, of course. So anyways, we're going to use that full-size egg. So we have, and those of you seen maybe the first time I ever used this, it was an epic disaster, no pun intended, but I bought it just for using it here in the trailer. So we're going to give that a whirl. This is just on low speed. So that's our egg and our milk. So let's just get that whisked together. Perfect. Okay, now in terms of the cold butter and the mix, typically you're going to use something called a pastry cutter. I do not know where my pastry cutter is, but it's a moon-shaped type. It looks like a potato masher almost. You could probably use a potato masher, but it's moon-shaped and it has a handle on it, and you would just basically rock that and cut the butter into the dry mixture. Again, I can't find mine, so I'm really hoping that this might work. If it doesn't, I may try the dough hook. Woo! Oh my god! Okay, we'll keep this on low, low, low. The consistency, I guess the texture may or may not come out the way we really want, because we're kind of blending it here and not cutting, but it is what it is. We're working with what we have, and that's what this adventure is all about. So for those who don't know, we are building our house. We sold our house in August. Well, in May. We moved out in August, and the deal closed, and we have been living in our trailer on site where we are building our house. So very, very exciting, though it's taken some adjustments to lifestyle. And also, I almost feel like I'm learning to cook all over again, because it's been really challenging not having a full kitchen, just because that's what I'm used to. And though I have to, you know, I would say that we had a fairly good sized kitchen, which most people I think don't have. So I think you can all, or some of you can relate to having a small cook space. And so I'm looking forward to showing you how I make that work and how you can also make that work. So stay tuned for tips and tricks for living in small spaces and also cooking in small spaces. Okay. That is pretty good. You definitely don't want to overdo it, because you do want a crumbly type mixture. I would say it's barely there. I think I'll take this fork, and basically that's how I'll mix it in from now. But basically you could do this also with a fork, and you're just going to do a motion kind of like this, because that's how a pastry cutter would work as well. They're not expensive. They're just little. You can probably pick it up at Canadian Tire or something. I haven't looked. They probably have them, but it's kind of crumbly, and that's what you want. If I used a pastry cutter, it would be even more crumbly, but that's what we have. Okay, what's the next step? We did our egg and our milk in one bowl. We did our mix in our cold butter. And then using a fork or a pastry blender, you're going to cut in the butter, we did, and add the egg mixture to the dry ingredients and stir until evenly moistened. So again, you don't want to overdo it here, so I'm going to use spatula just because you want to just mix it. I'm going to make a well in the center, and I prefer to have my other spatula. Oh, it is clean. Okay. See, again, probably seems like I'm not quite as coordinated as I typically am, because I'm not, because I'm learning all over again here. The other thing you could probably do is add in some grated cheddar cheese, or once you make them into your biscuits, you could pop some grated cheese on top. I bet that would be fabulous. I used to have, I do have a homemade recipe for biscuits, but they're not gluten-free. So, and boy, oh boy, instead of measuring the flour and the salt and everything, this is super duper easy. So again, with this these biscuits, you really don't want to overmix. I'm just going to keep mixing until basically there's no more dry flour. And though I could probably use, I could definitely use a bigger bowl to make this, I just don't know where they are at the moment. So again, working with what we have, and it's a very tacky sort of mixture, and that's what you want. You want a thick, tacky mixture. You don't want it thinned, because you're going to see what I'm going to do with it afterwards. So a couple brand new products that came out this fall 2021, are our scoops. So they come in 2 sizes. We have our 2 tablespoon scoop, or table, I can't remember the sizes, forgive me, but 1/4 cup scoop, and that's a 2 tablespoon scoop. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use this 1/4 cup scoop. Fabulous for making cookies this holiday, and there we go, I think you can still see. And fabulous for making cookies. Actually, in several of my older videos, you would have seen me using something similar, and I always said, oh, this is not an Epicure product, but I love it and I use it so often. So when Epicure finally came out with a product like that, I'm super stoked. And this table here, I'll have to get my husband to maybe tighten up. I think when we moved, it perhaps loosened up a little bit. But all right, so I'm going to use my sheet pan liner over a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this should make 8 is what the instructions say. So I'm just going to use my scooper here and plop it on. You could use a spoon as well, and you could make mini ones as well. You could use the smaller scooper and just make mini ones. I'm going to try and attempt to fit 8 on this pan. Make some more. My oven in the trailer here, in our camper, fits these 1/4 sheet pans absolutely perfectly. So if you guys camp, have an RV, and you have an oven in there, this is the absolute perfect size for the ovens. So keep that in mind. Make sure you get the liner that goes with it. And you see how hard this is to work with? It's very thick, okay? And that's the consistency you want. So if you want a more like rustic kind of biscuit, you don't have to use the scooper, but I like it because it keeps the sizes really consistent. All right, so I think we might get one extra one, and that's great. 1 extra will be great. But okay, so we'll deal with that afterwards, and I'll do that extra one. But here you go. There's my 8 biscuits. Put herb and garlic in it. I'm gonna pop those in the oven. This comes in a 2-pack for $11.25 at this time, and so you get 2 of them, and you're gonna put it in an oven at 425 for 17 to 20 minutes. So you can absolutely have those ready. You could probably make them ahead of time because they're butter. Toss them in the fridge or in the freezer. Take them out, pop them in the freezer if you want to make mealtime that much quicker. But yeah, so we're gonna have that in our hearty beef stew tonight, and we're actually gonna have dinner with friends outside today, so it's gonna be super nice. So I'm wishing you all a awesome evening. Thanks for joining, and if you have any other ideas for that biscuit mix, let me know. I would love to know, so I can try out some different recipes. All right, have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to subscribe and join my VIP group on Facebook, Epic Meals with Jess. All right, for more recipes and specials. Take care.